Hello folks, this is old Buster coming to you again. Got another little story. This is called The Dentist. Now what I want y'all to know is the doctors in here are my doctors that just did a little oral surgery on me. Now in fact they yanked a tooth and got a little more to do to me here next month. But the real name's Dr. Swift and Dr. O'Lean, and they asked me to write a little story about them by getting this tooth pulled. So this is for Doc Swift, Dr. O'Lean. The Dentist. Well, Jesse, Hired, and Walter come up to Buster and told him to let's go. What's ailing you boys? Queried Buster. Well, don't go acting like you're just telling us we don't know what you got a planning, says Walter. You're a-fixing to get in your Ford and hightail it out of here. Winds know your fur too well, says Jesse. Put them keys back in your pocket, said Hires. Better give them to me. We got to make sure you don't get on over to Tench's place. You is scared of the dentist, and you're going to hide out over at Tench's place. Well, you ain't going to do it, says Jesse. Your Grandma Clara called up all our malls and told them they had to get us to hog tie you if we had to, but to get on over to Doc Swifty and Doc O'Lean's office. She done got an appointment made for you to get that tooth pulled and whatever else needed fixing. She knowed you would try to get out of it, said Hired. Well, let me tell you another thing, says Hired. Your Grandma Clara has also called all our paws to make sure we go over there too. You was in a pickle for sure, and all of them are making sure you're going to make that appointment. Well, look here now, Buster. All us boys know you is afeard of the dentist, but you just got to go, or it is going to be worse for you if you don't. When you bit Doc Lefter, when you was 10 and he keeled over with a heart attack, you thought you done killed him, but it was just his'n time to go, and you know that now. Biting his'n fingers like you done wasn't your fault when he stuck that needle plumb through your cheek. The poor feller was just dead on his feet. No, Doc Swift and Doc O'Lean guaranteed they wasn't going to hurt you none. So let's go on over there and get it over with, said Jesse. But it's going to take both of them a doing what they do best to fix you up. That darn tooth is giving you fits, I know, and you got to have some teeth put in so you can eat. You want to be able to eat, don't you, said Walter. Well, sure enough I do, but I don't rightly cotton to no dentist, said Buster. Well, we all know that, but you also know you like and trust both the docs, don't you? Well, I surely do, but I gets the willies when I think about it all, and that drill a buzzing like it does, says Buster. Well, Swifty said we could all be in there with you, and Walter said we will. The boys got Buster in that old Chrysler Walter was a-driving and drove over to the clinic. Walter and Hired got a hold of Buster's arms and sashayed Buster right on into Doc's office with Buster bowed up like a banty rooster. Now the nurses, Lana and Lisa, was there, and Buster calmed a mite, and they got him to sit on in the chair. Well, old Buster's eyes was wall-eyed and rolled back like window shades, but he stayed put. Both Doc Swift and Doc O'Lean come right on in and told Buster it was going to be all right. Then they put some kind of chomping block in Buster's mouth and went to a looking in there and discussing what way he was going to do. Well, now Buster was a-trying to holler something, but that dang chomping block wasn't going to let him say nary a word that could be understood. Now Buster took to a-waving his in arms and a-squirming like a worm in hot ashes, I tell you. Well, Doc O'Lean went up to Buster and kind of pinched his in cheek, whilst Doc Swift give Buster some shots, and a passel of them at that. Well, then Buster settled right on down. After getting Buster to simmer down, the docs went to working on Buster's tooth. But the dang thing was tougher than a sweet gum stump down on Indian bow. Them two dentists was a-pulling and a-poking, but Buster didn't hurt none. But they looked like they was going to put a log chain hook to the bumper of a pickup truck and yank her out. Well, that's when it happened. The lights went out. No power, said Swifty. Old Lean run out to see what all was a-happening when his nurse come up and said the power line was down at Keogh and all the power was out from all around these parts. Seemed to be some fellers a-running hogs with horses and dogs scared the farmer in a bob truck hauling hay, and he knocked down a power pole whilst trying not to run into them when they run crossed in front of him. Well, Doc Swift said, "Boys, we got to get that tooth out and be quick about it. Can all y'all boys hold down Buster before his painkiller wears off?" "Sure enough, we can try, but when he takes a notion, ain't no 10 men are going to hold him, I can tell you that," said Walter. "We done been there and done that." "Well, do what you can," says Doc O'Lean. "Me and Doc Swift is going to do our best to get that there tooth out and be as quick as we can." "Reckon it is the hardest tooth we ever had to pull," says Doc Swift. "Now you boys hold Buster tight now, you hear?" says Swifty. Him and Doc O'Lean went to pulling and a-prying, and it seemed it was about to pull Buster's head plumb off of his shoulders. About that time, Doc Swift said to Doc O'Lean, "You ready?" "Yep," he said. Well, when Doc Swift said to go, he laid back on them pliers, and Doc O'Lean went to a-prying with all he had. About then, old Swifty slipped and fell right back on his backside, and that darn tooth popped right out of Buster's mouth and landed on the metal tray there, sounding like you shot it with a .22. Well, Buster rolled his eyes and asked him when they took out the chomping block out of his mouth when they was going to get on with it. "We's done," said Swifty. Buster says, "You mean you're done?" "Sure enough," both Doc said, just a-grinning. "We done got her out, and here it is." Well, I'll be hornswoggled. It didn't hurt a bit. About that time, the lights come on, and the boys lit out of there like their tails was on fire. "Well, how you feeling?" asked Hired. "Oh, a mite sore in the jaw, but fair to middling, I reckon," says Buster. "Well, let's get on over to Leek's drugstore and get something to eat and drink," said Buster. "Now, Doc said you can't have nothing but something soft like ice cream and pudding. How about a banana split and a butterscotch ball for you?" said Jesse. "Man, oh man, am I up for that," says Buster. "Fact of business, gimme two." Well, y'all have a blessed day. This is old Buster signing out on you. I'm still being the cameraman, so we'll get this done as best we can till we get somebody to shoot this video. But we got 2 more coming today. One's called Swimming, and one's called The Long and the Short of It All. Y'all have a blessed day again. See y'all later. Stay safe, stay healthy.